alone. Stop following me.
You won't call the cops.
Stop.
You guys need to all go watch this whole video and the other one. There's 2 of them. This woman's been stalked for 4 years by this man, and the police are doing nothing because she won't get a PPO against him. The reason she won't get a PPO against him is because when he is served with that PPO, he finally has her name and information that he's been seeking for 4 long years. And I can tell you, you do.
Do you see how upset people are at what she's going through? Are you not able to figure out how people think? This is Cynthia Ortiz. It is the 27th of January, 2022. These are the Charles Perry Stalker podcasts. And we do the disclaimer, use allegedly. Nobody's been found guilty in a court of law yet. We assert all constitutional rights. Most importantly, the First Amendment, because we are allowed to say what we think, despite Mr. Perry and Mr. Powell's deep chagrin when they get caught and told on. And they want to shut that all down. Guess what? When you shut down a victim, you are committing another crime, and you create more victims, Mr. Powell. How many times have you called up here today going, did she suspect anything? Did she tell her attorney, her defense attorney, anything yet? You know what? You're not supposed to know what I tell defense attorneys, and I shouldn't need a defense attorney, should I? Please, stop calling up here. Why don't you mind your own business and go work? Then you don't need to lie, and you don't need to cover up, and you don't need to know what did I tell anybody. You're not supposed to know what I tell anybody. Only way you could know that is hacking me. You're in a lot of trouble, sir. So the next one is, and apply, of course, the decisions made in New York Times Company versus Sullivan, Garrison versus Louisiana. We also assert the Equal Protection Clause due process, Mr. Powell. Don't call up here anymore and bother people. So, if you can't see that everybody's disturbed by what she's going through, you're just not all there. Listen, guys, I came in to Lubbock from Las Vegas, Nevada. There are 2 million people in Las Vegas, Nevada, or there were when I lived there, and there's 2 million people in a whole state of Oklahoma. You got casinos, big, beautiful casinos, all competing with each other for people to come in there and gamble, and people to come in there and do business. It's about money. It's about the bottom line. So guess what the mindset is of Las Vegas, Nevada. The mindset of Las Vegas, Nevada is, I got to get ahead of my competitor across the street or next door to me. So what I need to do is be cutting edge. We can't afford to lose any money. We've got to make sure all processes are very efficient, very up with the times, very progressive, very effective. So Vegas is always changing continuously every day. Every day, everybody's looking for the newest, best way to do it. All the time. Lubbock is, we've been doing it this way for 30 years. It's your excuse to fail. If you watched Derek Chauvin murder George Floyd in cold blood, sat on his neck for, 8 minutes, they said, and people's outrage at standing there watching that, Mr. Powell, they're screaming and yelling, asking him to stop. You know why, Mr. Powell? People don't like it when you hurt another person, whether that be me or my family or the Neelys or the Millers or anybody. People don't like it when one person hurts another. The world blew up. Police are now having a hard time recruiting. There's mistrust. They're having a hard time getting information, and that's your fault. Nobody likes corrupt politicians. Nobody likes corrupt people. Nobody likes corruption. Government officials, corrupt companies, Enron. People got pissed off at Enron. It doesn't matter where the corruption is. Nobody likes it, Mr. Powell. Stop calling up here and trying to hurt me. You've been given notice right now. You are to cease and desist. Do not do it again. Don't do it again. You or Perry or Robertson, do not do it again. You've been given notice. You ought to have 33,000 something emails, I understand. Somebody complained I can't print these all up on my printer. I had to fucking go to a professional to print all these emails up. All these emails is just like the McNamara email. Y'all planned something, it got recorded just like just now. Did she suspect anything? Did she tell her attorney yet? Nobody is supposed to have access to what I tell any attorney. Unless it's your attorney. That's illegally obtained information, Powell. So, all of you got leaks. Because you like to gaslight. You go tell everybody. Then it's like cats, herding cats. Who tells who what? You got people that you're trying to use to gaslight me that are on drugs. They're on drugs and alcohol. They don't know what they're saying to who. So, Good luck to you on that. What that leads to then is somebody has probable cause to walk into a judge and say, I need a sealed wiretap order on Mr. Powell. I need a sealed wiretap order on Mr. Perry, Mr. Robertson, Mr. Burson, and Mr. Chadwick. And, oh, by the way, there's these 5 people they were talking to about hurting her. Them too. So please note for the record that is the case. And that's how you got 33,000 emails where I typed up a recording. So 33,000 emails that represent 33,000 recordings of you trying to hurt me illegally. Mr. Perry, I didn't murder anybody, and you know that. Because you don't have to plant a gun in my car or gather up all my cigarette butts to do that. Or all this other shit to steal my clothes to plant somewhere if I actually committed a murder, would you? You're not gonna have to have a meeting saying, how can we frame her for a murder? That way it's not linked to me. It is linked to you because you were recorded talking about it, Mr. Perry. So that not only are you as weirdo as this guy Neil here, you're worse, sir. You're dangerous. You're a threat. Hang on a second. And yeah, police into Oklahoma need to catch up with us. Because we're catching the bad guy. Guess what? Nobody wants to feel negative emotions like fear, sadness, guilt, threatened, a knot in your stomach, stressed out, geeked out, disturbed, icked out, creeped out. Nobody likes feeling that, Mr. Powell. And you're making people feel that. So it's not that hard for us to get information because guess what everybody wants? They want the threat gone, and you're the threat. You want to call up here and say, does she know yet? Does she suspect anything yet? Does she say anything to her attorney yet? Which nobody can know by legal means. What I say to Mr. I don't have an attorney, really. Do I need one, Powell? See, because you guys were sitting around threatening to, let's send her home, harass the shit out of her. And when she complains about it, we'll claim she's harassing us. Which you did do in civil court twice. So don't say you didn't plan that, because you did. We have the harassment email now as a result that was sent on April 11, 2018. Because you did that, and it got all over the jail because you made everybody very mad and very uncomfortable, I've had to send everything to Philip Wishcamper in case you carry out that threat too, Powell. Why, Mr. Wishcamper shouldn't have to get a fucking thing from me. I shouldn't even know who he is. And yet I do. Because I did move twice, Mr. Powell, to get away from creepy Charles. He thinks that's a date. He thinks stalking is a date. It's not a date. When you do something, Mr. Powell, outside social norms, it makes people upset. It's deviant conduct. It's outside social norms. It is what people have said. We're not going to tolerate this in a civilized society, and that would be hacking, voyeurism, and stalking. Mr. Perry's a serial stalker, a serial voyeur, and a serial killer. But you haven't done your homework, so you wouldn't know that. We do. You need to catch up. You're behind. You're way behind. You did ask him when I was in jail. Look me in the eye, Charles. Is it possible this is personal? She was displaced, Charles. Tell me the truth. Is this possible that this is personal? And he lied to you again. So now you just look stupid if you believe anything he says after that. He lied in court. If you lie in court under oath, under penalty of perjury, Mr. Powell, you'll lie anywhere to anyone at any time, and everybody knows that. So in what I was saying about Vegas is, in order to keep up with that competitive world, you have to be very progressive thinking. You have to be willing to do diligence. You have to work your ass off, or you're not going to make it. You're not going to make it. That means you don't have time to sit around and watch women in the privacy of their home all day, perverting around, Mr. Perry. So those guys in that land, you wouldn't make it 5 minutes. You'd end up downtown in your little skirt with your little doll doing a dance, hoping people throw a dollar bill at you here and there in 5 minutes. You wouldn't survive that world. And I moved from that world, where I did survive for a long time, to Lubbock. And I couldn't understand the way you people think. Couldn't do it. I tried. I couldn't understand it. I've been doing it that way for 30 years. When I had been immersed in a whole different way of thinking. Progressive. Up with the times. Women, equal pay. Do you know Nevada has the largest population of female legislators in the country? Do you know how many times I was asked to run for office, Mr. Perry? Mr. Powell? I'm not a stupid stripper. You're a job. That was part of that. Because you guys like taking the bait. It's not hard. Go ahead and make that phone call again one more time, Mr. Powell. Did she suspect anything? Did she say anything to her defense attorney? Which nobody should have the answer to that. Do it again, I dare you, one more time. Plan one more harm and ask one more person if I suspect a thing. If I suspect something. If I know. Did she find out? Do it one more time, I dare you. I got asked to run for office in Nevada over and over and over, Mr. Powell. I also had people make a bunch of phone calls to find out who trained me to do a sting-op nobody else can keep up with. What do you think that means, Mr. Powell? You take the bait every fucking time. It's so easy, it's not even fair. You know what? It's not hard to get information because everybody's sick and tired of feeling negative emotions you invoke. We don't want to feel afraid. Nobody wants to feel guilty because they help you hurt me in order to avoid something happening to them. The Hitler thing. Shoot the Jew or I'll shoot you. Does that mean they want to shoot the Jew? Nope. They feel guilty about it. What that means is they were given an ultimatum. You hurt that person or I'll hurt you. And you guys do that to my family. You've done that to my kids. You've done that to everybody I know. And you will stop right now or you'll be charged with that too. I don't know that you already won't be. I'm not even sure what all's on the list. We know that we want it stopped. My guys are stopping it like nobody you've ever met in your life. When in your life have you been told on this much? When in your life, Mr. Perry, have you been caught in your crime this much? You don't know what you're dealing with, guys. I'm sorry. You don't have a clue. But when you keep getting quoted verbatim, and you got a Fabian puzzle I got in jail, you can't explain it. I mean, what the fuck are you thinking, Mr. Powell? Mr. Powell, do you know I was in your office, actually? When I was representing Frank Morrison, who ran for county commissioner, we got a call from one of your ADAs that was very frustrated with some things. There was a switch in insurance, I think, health insurance. And their premiums went up all of a sudden. I can't remember the guy's name that Mr. Morrison was running against. I wish I could, but I can't remember his name. He was an incumbent. Yeah, I can see his face. His wife is on the news anchor, but I cannot remember his name. That guy was the county commissioner, and everybody got upset when all of a sudden they get a notice without nobody consulted them, nobody asked them. All of a sudden their insurance premiums like doubled or something, and they couldn't afford it. So guess what happened? When people are pissed off at the incumbent, they're going to call the other guy. It's a hiring. This is an election is hiring. Do I want to hire you to represent me in whatever it is? It's a free country, Mr. Powell. People can do that. That's what an election is for. That's what a democracy is, Mr. Powell. Yeah, you guys act like Mr. Senator Tuberville was right, and you think you live in Iraq. And you're God, and everybody's supposed to worship you, and that's not how that works, sir. It's a democracy. People have the right to know everything and anything about the person who's applying for the job. I'm applying for the job as county commissioner. And here's what I will do when I'm in the job. And in my personal life, I have XYZ. What's the guy's name? Buttigieg came out and said, I'm a gay man. If you don't like that, don't vote for me. If you do like that, then vote for me. Or if you don't care, vote for me. And you like my stand on the positions. That's what it is. When you go in and interview somebody, they have the right to ask questions about you, sir. They have the right to know everything about you. They have the right to know what Mr. Perry does in his free time. And he's not willing to go work, so he has an alibi. Or take his wife with him and be seen with her. Because believe me, if he's with her, he's not bothering me. So what do you think I want? Mr. Powell, I would love for Mr. Perry to get busy doing things with his family, going to see constituents, going to kiss babies and shake hands. Because if he's doing that, he's not bothering me. And I'm sick and tired of Charles Perry imposing his delusion on me. Sick of it. We all are. It's creepy. He's a fucking creepster. We're tired of it. Please know that. I gave him 4 years, Powell. 4 years to clean it up and stop it. Because I didn't want to be a scandal. Then I moved again, then I told people. Because the people that knew for my safety, and I'm pretty sure those Facebook messages say that. In case something happens to me, I've been threatened. I may have to move to Vegas. That was in 2011. What in the fuck is wrong with you? No one likes to feel creeped out, disturbed by deviant conduct, sick at their stomach, grossed out, threatened, scared, anxious, guilty, and that's what you guys cause everybody to feel. My guys come in and go, we're going to put a stop to that. Whew, relief. It's not hard to get information, sir. My guys make everybody feel relief. You're going to be safe. We're going to put a stop to it. And a lot of stuff that they try to do, they are not able to do because we put a stop to it. Relief. Relief suffering caused by crime. When Perry contacts me, Mr. Powell, you guys get caught more. And he never shuts up. He's like Connie Curry. And nobody asked you what you think, Perry. No one asked you, sir. You are not asked. You know what you are asked to do? Go the fuck away. Shut up and go away. Conduct yourself like a normal human being. So what happened, Powell, is we get a phone call from one of your very upset ADAs. We go in and we talk to them. They told us what happened with the insurance. They told us, showed us a chart of pay for ADAs across the state. Well, because the lowest pay, we need more money. If my parents didn't live here and I didn't need help with my kids, I'd move to this county right here. And there was a lot of things we talked about, Mr. Powell. I was probably 5 feet away from your office. From you. I just never met you. But we had sat there and listened to everything your people had to say about their frustrations. They wanted to hire somebody else. They didn't like the guy that was working at the job at the time. They contacted us. We didn't contact them. I didn't know him. I didn't know anybody to contact. They called us. We went in. I went in. I went in 3 times, actually. So we've been in your office. More than once. 3 times, specifically. The other thing that happened is after the second time, the situation happened with my son, Tristan. And I went in and I talked to one of your people about that. And I said, I want them charged for fraud. Look at these papers. They went into court and committed fraud. And he said, I think that what you needed to do is have Bernalillo County Sheriff's Department arrest him for interfering with your custody agreement. And I said, they asked me if I wanted that, and I said no. I was trying to not escalate anything at the time. The very next day, they went in and filed the fraudulent court case. Had I known they were going to do that, I would have had him arrested. I was trying to de-escalate a very volatile situation where my child was involved. My child was hurting. I was trying to calm things down, not escalate. Had I had them arrested that night, believe me, that would have upset everybody. I had the right to do that. In fact, the deputy told Tristan, your grandparents are in the wrong. Your mother has the right to have them arrested right now and put you in the back of that car and take your ass home. She has chosen not to. She's chosen not to. So I want you to know it was her choice, and that's what she chose. You don't have the right to do what you're doing. Your grandparents don't have the right to do what they're doing, and they could have been arrested had she asked for that. She told my son that, Mr. Powell. We went to the FBI. The FBI said, they got to take, I said, they want my child support money. Here's the papers that make me believe that. Here's the fraud. Here's the papers they signed that they went into court then and lied about. And the FBI said they got to take $100,000. When they take $100,000, we can take it. Go to the locals. So I did. Went to your ADA that I'd already talked to about some other things. And he goes, I don't think I can do anything now. Wow, why? If the feds can, why can't you? Why can't you? I've just lost a kid. This isn't about a loss of money or property. This is my child. This is my child.
And just like that,
Sorry about that. So, that's what happened. I didn't get, angry at that guy. Mr. Perry, leave my shit alone. I didn't get angry at that guy. I mean, I was frustrated with him. I felt like he was incompetent. And I was like, well, maybe that's why he's on the lowest of the pay scales here. But it was subpar performance. So I come in from Nevada, where everything is excellent or die, basically. If you go into Vegas, it's beautiful. Those casinos are beautiful. Things are efficient. Tristan told me that Brandon told somebody that dropped a plate. That he said, we went to I think it was the Tao or the Lavo where he was working at the time, and a waiter dropped a plate, and he said, you know what my dad did? And I said, what? He goes, my dad went to the guy and he goes, I got a list of 200 people that will take your job in 3 minutes. Get your act together or you're out of here. And that's the Vegas way, Mr. Powell. I got a list of 200 people that will take your job and do it fucking right. And I can get them in here in 3 minutes and you're gone. If you can't fucking carry a plate across the floor without dropping it, maybe you don't need to be here. It's that bad, Powell. It is that much. That is where I lived most of my adult life. A good part of it. And that's what I'm used to. That's the way I think. You get it done yesterday, and there is none of this. We've been doing it that way for 30 years. If someone comes in and goes, this situation isn't working, that's the wrong answer. What you do is you sit down and you find a way to make it work. That's it. There's no other option. And so, for the first time, you guys are caught in your crime. Because that's my mindset, and that's the mindset of everybody I have anything to do with. And if you can't keep up with that, I don't have time for that. I don't. I'm not a special ed teacher. Do I look like a special ed teacher? So, we've been very good at what we do. We've been very effective at what we do. Nobody's done what we've done. I want to know, when in your lives has your crime been caught this much? I would like an answer, Mr. Perry. No one cares how you feel or what you think. You need a lie. We get it. You made your point. You're desperate for a lie. We get it. You made your point. What I'm telling you is, no one cares. What I care about is the people that you hurt. The people that lost a loved one because you needed to cover up a lie. You wanted to lie. They lost a person. Mr. Powell, I lost my son. Your office had the chance to make that right, and they didn't do fuck. So all that did is tell me this place is subpar. It's just subpar. There's certain things you just trust God with. God has a reason for this, to allow it. He just does. And I believe he is who he says he is, and he'll do what he says he will do. And he'll use what was meant for evil for my good. I believe that. And I've said that when I've talked about the story of Joseph. I believe God puts our footsteps, orders our footsteps. That's my belief. My belief is that he'll use everything that you've done to me for evil, Mr. Powell. He'll use it for my good. He already has in a lot more ways than you know. And you know what? Because of me, Mr. Powell, Mr. Perry will never again kill and no one suspect him. Right now, he's just moved himself up to the top of the suspect list. He can't kill again and just get away with it because of me. Because I chose to do something effective with what he did to me. I don't whine and cry and complain. If somebody meets me out at when I was at work, when I was working in a strip club, if somebody met me at a strip club, they never heard about it. They didn't know anything was wrong. Nobody had any idea that I'm going through what I'm going through. No one knew. I didn't sit around and cry and whine about it. I'm fighting you because you're doing something wrong and it's hurting people. And my granddad taught me, what you do is you relieve suffering caused by crime or anything. And you don't have to be a cop. If you see suffering and you have the ability to put a stop to it, put a stop to it. Mr. Powell, when I was a little girl, everyone knew. If Cindy sees somebody bullying another kid, she's going to put a stop to it. And guess what else she's going to do? She's going to make sure they know she's Chief Hall's granddaughter. Scares the fuck out of little kids. My granddad's the chief of police. You better stop bullying that kid. And boy, they did. But you know what I did is I made somebody that was hurting not hurt anymore. That's what we're here for, Powell. You guys all go to church. What do they teach you at Southcrest? How to commit crime and get away with it? What kind of fucking church is that? I don't go to church. I was critical the other day of atheists, and I just think that most people say they're atheists, and when it comes down to it, they're probably not. If they're sitting there watching their 6-year-old little kid die of cancer, I don't think they'd be an atheist. I think they'd be praying, be done in the chapel. If somebody's shooting at Ronald Reagan Jr., I think he'd probably start talking to God. Save me, God. I'm scared. Because there are certain situations only God can. There's no other way out. No person can help you. Certain moments, God, to make sure happen to us. so that we don't get on a high horse, so that we remember that we're his creation and we're here for him and nothing else. And there are certain situations that we come against. Everybody. A person can't help you. Your money can't help you. Nothing like the power, your position. It can't help you. The only one that's going to help you in certain situations is the Almighty God who created us. And if you get up on a high horse, he'll make sure he takes your ass down. If you get defiant against him. Look at Goliath. David said, who is this who defies the armies of the living God? Who is this? Who is this fucker? And he took Goliath down. Took him down. And his height and his weight didn't solve shit, did it? Didn't solve shit. Pharaoh followed the Israelites chasing something that did not belong to him. And he got swallowed up in the sea. And I'm going to tell you something right now. When I pray, Mr. Powell, I don't go to church. I don't trust church people because of you. I don't. I think church people are something. I don't. Once in a while you meet a good one, but for the most part, a bunch of lying, cheating. I found better people in a strip club, Mr. Powell. I worked with girls who have been through hell, like I said. One of them taking care of a meth addict mom. Mom didn't make sure her homework was done. Didn't care. She's passed out on meth. Doing some sort of meth rant. And so, if homework got done, she took the initiative to do it herself. A lot of those girls dropped out of high school. They're dancing. They got some drug addicted something at home. They're taking care of him. Mom should have taken care of her. Instead, it's the other way around. And that girl did more good in the world than I've ever seen you do. What the hell's wrong with you? Caiaphas killed Jesus. Caiaphas paid 30. Caiaphas was the high priest. He was the church boy. Paid 30 pieces of silver for the life of Jesus to kill him. And he rose again on the third day. And so when I pray over you guys, believe me, I pray you're the mountains. I pray fall into the sea. Everybody's tired of feeling threatened. Everybody's tired of feeling afraid. Everybody's tired of feeling creeped out and disturbed by your deviancy. So, Mr. Perry, you know what those guys in Vegas are doing right now? Working. Working. Not sitting around watching TV wishing that was their life. Pretending. You wouldn't make it in that world for 5 minutes. I kid you not. You'd have to put your skirt on and go dance downtown with your doll and help somebody throw some money at you. That's the only way you'd make it. And even then, you're not making it. People don't like you because you're mean. A man's kindness brings blessings. A man's cruelty will be his downfall. And you're this guy, Perry. Crazy kook is that man. Except you're dangerous. Never again will you kill. And people won't suspect you because of me. Because I'm good at what I do. Very, very good at what I do. You fucking with the wrong people. And so our shrink, she's like, man, I sit these guys down and give them a test. I give my first grade patients. Here's some squares. Some are blue, some are yellow, some are red, some are orange. Here's some triangles. Some are blue, some are red, some are yellow, some are orange. Here's some circles. Some are blue, some are red, some are yellow, some are orange. And I'm going to make a pattern. Can you tell me the pattern? And then she waits to see if the child can spot the pattern. And these guys can't tell. When you fuck with Cindy, you get caught. When you fuck with Cynthia, you get caught. McNamara email, harassment email, Michael's drugged email. We're going to take her car and have it towed and sold before she figures out it's not legal to do that. Illegally obtained anything is you're going to jail. It's just another charge. People don't like corruption. They don't like watching one person hurt another. So, it's not hard to get information. They don't like feeling scared and threatened. They like their safety and well-being being protected. It's just human nature. And if you couldn't tell, if they can't tell, they see the cause and effect here. When you fuck with Cindy, you get told on. When you fuck with Cindy, you get told on. Then I don't think they can pass that test. Point out the pattern. Circle, square, triangle. Here's all the circles. Here's all the squares. Pull out the blue ones for me. Pull out the group them for me. She goes, I'm sorry, but I'm worried they wouldn't pass it. If it takes 6 years and they're not getting the pattern, when Perry fucks with you, he gets told on. When Powell fucks with you, he gets told on. When Robertson fucks with you, they're told on. More than ever in their lives. When Josh and Joe fuck with you, they get caught. I mean, they're not getting it. By now, they ought to get it. My first graders would get it after the third time that happened. You're driving through Yale. I'm going to tell you something. Yale, Oklahoma. Everybody knows Yale, Oklahoma. They got like 6 police officers and nothing else to do but write tickets. I mean, there's just nothing to do. It's a little bitty town. And when they pull you over, the chances are very high you're going to get a ticket, because that also means they don't have a whole lot of income. It's not like a big rich city. They got to pay those 6 police officers, you know, and all that shit. So everybody knows when you go through Yale, don't speed. Don't fucking speed. You're going to get a ticket. They're not going to give you a warning. They're not going to let you go. They might here and there, but not often. They're going to get your ass. So if everyone knows that and they go speeding through there anyway and then cry and complain when they get a ticket, how do you think everybody else, you know, sees that? What a dumb fuck. Everybody told him not to speed through Yale. What a fucking idiot. Everybody knows you don't speed through Yale. We all learned it the hard way. That's how we know you don't speed through Yale. Everyone knows you don't speed through Yale. You speed through Yale, they'll get your ass. They're not going to give you a warning. You're going to get a ticket because that's their only source of income. So, after every time you guys get told on at 33,000 and you're still not getting it, 33,000 emails representing 33,000 recordings, and you're still not putting it together, Mr. Powell, you shouldn't fuck with me. All I asked you to do is leave me the hell alone. I moved twice to get away from y'all and not have a conflict. So why are you coming up here causing a conflict? We got David Robertson. We've got Terry Wagner. We've got Joel. We've got Mickey James. We've got Pinto coming where I am, causing a problem. You guys haven't had 4 people hit you in 2 years. 1 with a brick, and the other 3 hit your right at your wheel. Right at your fucking wheel. And now you're recorded again saying maybe we should get somebody to pull out in front of her, starting to look suspicious. You think? It took you 4 times? Wow. I'm not a special ed teacher. I don't even know how to communicate with people like you. But I'm going to tell you something. This is how you guys look, at the very least, to the rest of us. To everybody else. Everybody made it illegal to stalk, hack, and peep. It's a crime. Because people don't like it when you do that. And if you do things people don't like, they're not going to like you. Title 18 of the United States Code 1512 and 1513. We assert that here. Don't do it. You look like this guy at the very least.
Stalking me. Please, I can't live here anymore because you stalked me. That's why I moved.
Just talk.
Leave me alone.
I will. You talk to me for 2 minutes.
No,
I'll leave you alone.
0 minutes. I don't want to ever talk to you again. I don't ever want to hear your voice to you. Please, God bless you, but please leave me alone. Please leave me alone. Stop following me.
You won't call the cops.
Stop. I don't. Stop stalking me. Please, I can't live here anymore because you stalked me. That's why I moved.
Just talk.
Leave me alone.
I will. You talk to me for 2 minutes.
No,
I'll leave you alone.
0 minutes. I don't want to ever talk to you again. I don't ever want to hear your voice to you. Please, God bless you, but please leave me alone. Please leave me alone. Stop following me.
You won't call the cops.
Stop. I don't. Stop stalking me. Please, I can't live.
Why would you put somebody through that? Why would you torment somebody like that? What's the fulfillment in acting like that? There's not a real date. There's never going to be a real date. So why is he doing that shit? What good has that produced? Nothing. So why are you doing what you're doing? We have an open case in the Oklahoma appeal court. So go get busy working on that, doing it legit this time, so you don't end up with some other charge because you did fraud in court again, Mr. Powell. You need to get your little friend Perry off my back. Perry, we are not a couple. Your delusion is sickening people. Stop lying to yourself. Stop bullshitting yourself. You don't fit into my crowd. You don't even get close. One time, I'm going to tell you something. If you're in Vegas and you're doing business and anybody has to repeat themselves, there's the door. Don't let the door hit you in the butt on the way out. You better fucking keep up. One time is all we say this. If you have to say it more than once, get out. That's Vegas. I worked there, Mr. Perry. I know. You're an embarrassment, sir. You're creeping people out. You're causing me to want to barf 24/7. I can't stand you. I'm not in love with you. Doesn't go both ways. Get a grip on reality. Stop sitting around on your fat, lazy ass, perverting around, bullshitting yourself, making a fool of yourself. Because people think of you worse than they think of this guy.
Here anymore because stalk me. That's what I
No,
mean.
I don't. Just talk.
Leave me alone.
I will. You talk to me for 2 minutes.
No,
I'll leave you alone.
0 minutes. I don't want to ever talk to you again. I don't ever want to hear your voice, Seal. Please,
what
God
happened?
bless you, but
What
please leave me alone.
happened?
Please leave me alone. Stop following me.
You won't call the cops.
Stop. I don't. Stop
Shut.
stalking me. Please, I can't live here anymore because you stalk me. That's
No,
what I
no,
mean.
I don't. Just talk.
Leave me alone.
I will. You talk to me for 2 minutes.
No,
I'll leave you alone.
0 minutes. I don't want to ever talk to you again. I don't ever want to hear your voice, Seal. Please, God bless you, but please leave me alone. Please leave me alone. Stop following me.
You won't call the cops.
Stop. I don't.
When has your crime been caught this much ever in your life before me? Who's doing that, Perry? Somebody's protecting my ass from you. I wouldn't need the protection if you weren't dangerous. When somebody says, leave me the fuck alone, then leave them the fuck alone. No one cares what you think, Connie Curry. You weren't asked. You know what you were asked to do? Leave us the fuck alone. Everybody's tired of feeling guilty because you asked them to hurt me. Everybody's tired of feeling scared that if they do it wrong, you'll come after them. Everybody's tired of you. Leave us the fuck alone. Perry, Powell, Robertson, Josh, Chadwick. Just go work. Go do normal things people do. And then you don't need a cover up. You don't need to buy a judge, and you don't need to buy cops. And if you're a bot cop, please find a different job. Because you're the reason people don't trust cops. You're the reason crime stats go up. You're the reason people don't want to be recruited to be a police officer. You're making it look bad. You're making everybody else look bad. And there's good cops out there. And the bad ones always fuck it up for the good ones. I really, please just do the right thing because it's the right thing to do, or get out of law enforcement. Everybody wants to feel happy and safe and peaceful. And they're tired of the negative emotions you cause. So stop, Mr. Perry. Get out of my life. Mr. Perry, get the fuck out of my life. Now. Right now. Go work. Get out of my life. You weren't invited in it. You are a burden and an imposition and nothing more. Get out of my life. I didn't ask you what you think. No one cares. I don't care what you think. You need a lie. You've made your point. We get it. You don't have to tell us twice. You're making everybody mad. You're making everybody sick at their stomach. Get out of my life. I want my privacy back, and I want you gone. And once you're in jail, I won't ever be broke again, because you won't be around to take my money. When somebody tells you, leave me alone, shut up and go away. Connie Curry, then leave them alone. Butt out. Leave us alone. You guys are causing problems for everyone else. And we didn't invite you here. You don't live here. I came here to get away from your drama queen crap. Your drama. Y'all are soap opera. You like soap operas, don't you? And everybody else is working hard. You're doing your little soap opera. We're tired of it. We're sick of it. So stop. Please stop. No one cares about your little faked up imaginary love life, Charles, and they don't care that you need a lie. We care about all the people that have lost people, money, property, because of you. The sense of safety and well-being. That's who we care about, those that you hurt. You hurt people and you get off on it. It's not normal, sir. It's deviant and it's criminal. And you will stop. Because every time you are told on, every time I'm quoting you, that's what they're doing. They're putting a stop to it. There's a lot of things you planned that you couldn't do because my guys stopped you. You're not getting it. You're not all there, are you? See, most people don't have to be told this at all, much less over and over and over and over and over and over, and you still don't get it. So now our shrink is going, I don't think they would pass cognitive reasoning exams of my 6-year-old patients can do. I think if I put these shapes and colors and patterns, they will be able to pick out the pattern. If they can't pick out after 6 years, starting with McNamara email, when you fuck with her, you're going to get caught. When you fuck with her, you're going to get caught. When you fuck with her, you're going to get caught. They have to call around and ask if you're a cop and how you learn how to sting up like you do. And yet, they thought they could kill a cop, Chief Miller, and frame Mike, and we wouldn't look into that? You wouldn't look into that? Wow. Okay. They're not going to pass this test. They're not going to pass it. It doesn't take very many, high IQ to figure out. Don't ask somebody, are you a cop? And then act like they're not going to think like one. They're not going to figure out what you're doing. They're gonna. Now, there's also things called the thing called the subconscious mind. And I'm going to tell you, I use the hell out of that when I do a sting op. People react what's on their mind. They may not say to your face something, but they react. They'll act uncomfortable. They'll act nervous. They'll act skitsy. They'll act whatever. Whatever's in their mind subconsciously, they're going to show that one way or the other. So when you have police that have been murdered by you, and the other one framed by you, that's resonating with other police officers, as is my unwavering stand for Michael Neely and his innocence. It tends to piss people off when you hurt another person at all, but there's something different when it comes to police. When you hurt the reputation of police in general, when you hurt, like what Derek Chauvin did, you put a bad taste in everybody's mouth. Put a really bad taste in everybody's mouth. Everybody's got a sour stomach because of y'all. Now, all you've been asked to do is leave us the fuck alone. You want to fuck up the people in your town? Go fuck up the people in your town. But don't you dare come up to Oklahoma and kill our cops and think you're going to get away with that. You're not. You're not. A threat to one is a threat to all. We said, get the fuck out of town. Leave us alone, Powell. Leave us alone, Perry. Leave us alone, person. Go work. You want to fuck people's lives up? Do it in your town. Don't come up here and bother me. When you bother me, you get caught. McNamara email, harassment email, Michael's drugged email. I'm going to take her car away from her email. She needs to follow the Yellow Brick Road email. 33,000. I had to go to a professional printer. 33,000 times you were recorded. 33,000 times I typed it up and emailed it. And I should need a defense attorney, Mr. Powell. I'm not doing a fucking thing to you. I left. So there wouldn't be a conflict. You brought the conflict to Oklahoma. What is wrong with you, Perry? Shut up! You like to type in my computer when I'm doing these. Shut up, Perry. Mr. Powell, please get somebody to watch Mr. Perry, what he's doing with his time all day. He needs a project, like a pottery class or, a painting class or something to prove he's doing anything but bothering me. Peeping, hacking, poking, peeping, pink penny, pathetic Perry is what your guy said. That's your guy. I'm quoting your man. Get him busy. Okay? We're busy. We have shit to do. Please go get a life. Get out of ours. This is another cease and desist, kind of. It's also kind of a podcast. You got caught again. Calling up here. You do every time. 33,000 times, Powell. 33,000 times. Didn't somebody tell you quit coming into my court in Kirkendall? Didn't she say something like that? How did it go from Kirkendall to Parker? Quit coming in here and trying to speak for Cynthia, because you're going to get it wrong. You misrepresent what she says, she's going to get you. She'll make you look stupid when you don't pick up on her sarcasm, metaphors, and analogies. She enjoys that, by the way, because I don't think like you. I'm not slow. I did survive Vegas. I loved Vegas. We moved to Lubbock for a couple of reasons, but one was job. Nobody leaves Vegas and moves to Lubbock unless it's job related, right? Please, leave us alone. Leave us the fuck alone. When you bother me, you get caught. The more Charles causes hardship and loss, violates my privacy, contacts me after I've told him repeatedly, stop bothering me, stop contacting me. I don't want to hear from you. I don't care what you think. Didn't ask you, Connie Curry. Leave us alone. Leave us the fuck alone. Leave us all the fuck alone. I moved here to get away from y'all. So go work and go be normal. You need the alibi. All of you do. Thank you.
Stop stalking me. Please, I can't live here anymore because you stalked me. That's why I moved.
Just talk.
Leave me alone.
I will. You talk to me for 2 minutes and
No,
I'll leave you alone.
0 minutes. I don't want to ever talk to you. I don't ever want to hear your voice, see you. Please, God bless you, but please leave me alone. Please leave
These are the emails I was talking about. This is the McNamara email. This happened 3 or 4 months before you did that little false arrest thing. And you can't rule out attempted foul play because you didn't give me a blood test. You interfered with Tulsa police. They didn't properly collect my evidence. I didn't get to talk to a detective to say, pull my blood, see if it's arsenic. He says it is. Let's see if it is. I don't even know. You didn't preserve it because you didn't intend to go to trial. Y'all were just doing some sort of intimidation bullshit. I said it before. You agreed to leave me the fuck alone. Justice Scalia died when you were planning this. In West Texas, of all places. And William O. Ritchie, the former retired commander of murder cops in D.C., said, you didn't follow protocol like we would have had he died in D.C. What's going on in West Texas? Something's wrong. You won't again kill Mr. Perry and make it look like a heart attack or suicide or something it wasn't. Right now, you just moved yourself to the top of the suspect list because twice now you've had something to do with poison, me and Mike Neely. And neither one of us got a blood test. I didn't get one at all. Mr. Powell, if you want to go to trial, if you really have a case that you can prove beyond a reasonable doubt, and you really feel like there was a crime committed, you can't illegally detain somebody if you don't believe there's a crime. It's called probable cause. First of all. Second of all, you have the legal obligation to preserve the evidence of that crime. And you don't hold somebody if you don't intend to go to trial. So why'd you hold me? And then I lost my evidence. You destroyed my evidence. You violated the RICO Act. And you did it knowingly. And while I'm sitting there, and that poison's working itself out of my system, Mike Neely didn't get tested till after he was given Narcan, which changed the chemical composition of his blood that caused him to be passed out in respiratory distress. And he didn't have a mark on him, by the way, only a red swollen right hand after being accused of beating someone to death. He had a needle in his right hand. I'm establishing for the record again, you guys did that murder, I believe. People believe OJ killed Nicole, some people don't. There were 2 different jury verdicts. There was the criminal one, where he was acquitted, and there was the wrongful death, which he was convicted. Which jury, Mr. Powell, belong in the funny farm, in your opinion? You like calling people crazy that find out what you're up to. So nobody likes corrupt people. Do you understand? They didn't like Enron, and they didn't like people hate Bill and Hillary, thinking they're corrupt. People hated who else? God, there's a list, isn't there? They don't like it. What part of I don't like corrupt people do you not get? What part of that? It makes everybody throw up. Why didn't you know that? I shouldn't have to say that even one time, much less over and over and over and over and over. You guys are making everybody uncomfortable. Stop. Get out of here. Get the fuck out of here. So you did that. You planned that. And then you did it twice. So, Perry, who did you have kill Justice Scalia? If you're that bold that you would kill the United States Supreme Court and a cop, and there's 2 of us now that weren't tested, so you think now you're going to get away with it? I've changed your life forever. Life as you've known it is over. Mr. Powell, that's called crime fighting. Have you not heard of it? We don't frame people up. You don't need to when it's a real crime. Right? And if you're recorded over and over and over, let's frame her for a murder. Let's frame her for a murder. Get all her cigarette butts. Get this, get that. Then I didn't do the murder, did I? And if I'm quoting you, and I know about it beforehand, you got a problem. That means there's a recording of it. You got caught. What about Todd Reno? So Todd Reno is a fucking, I don't know, news guy or something, and then he retired and went to work. He was on the board of CASA. They advocate for kids in court. And he was on that board with Jeff Klotzman, who was the Fox News anchor. I call up Todd and I go, let's do a fundraiser. Here's what I could do. He was very interested, and all of a sudden he just shut the whole thing down. And I was like, what happened? Turns out Perry called him and badmouthed me. Perry shouldn't have known I was even talking to Todd. He hacked me, though, and he saw the emails. So he badmouthed me. Well, cost me a job, didn't he? Just like our witness says. He'll put cameras in women's homes when they're not there. Gets in with a locksmith, a bump key, or pays the maintenance guy a little something, or the landlord a little something, puts hidden cameras in their homes, broadcasts them on the dark web, sells watch time. Then he gets them fired. Then he makes sure they can't find another job. and then they lose their house. Then he has the ex take the kids away. Long as I've known Charles Perry, he's a sex weirdo, sex sadist. He enjoys getting women hysterical, and then he goes and rubs one out. I'm quoting a witness, Mr. Powell. See, you haven't talked to that guy, have you? Perry wanted a handout like he does now. Who's telling on me? I'm a handout. I've shit up your life. Now do me a favor. And everybody's like, wow, you don't shit up somebody's life and expect a favor. When he's in jail, I won't have my life shit up anymore. I won't be broke again. You won't be around to steal my money faster than I can make it. So what do you think I want? You think that's a date? Oh my God, you really are delusional. So Todd all of a sudden ends up dead. And I'd never met him. I talked to him on the phone. Didn't really even know what he looked like until I saw him on Facebook. I call a friend of mine and I go, what the fuck happened? I do know the guy a little bit from talking to him on the phone. Here's how I know him. She goes, I don't know. Nobody can really figure this out. He really wasn't the suicidal type. I said, yeah, I didn't think he was either. I called Jeff Klotzman. I didn't tell Jeff what I'm suspicious about. I'm good at keeping things under, close to the vest for a while. But I said, Jeff, here's what I'm hearing. What do you know? And he goes, he really couldn't give me an answer, Mr. Powell, as to why Todd Reno would kill himself. Then I get a call from what's his name? Carl Tepper. Carl Tepper and Robin Tepper, his wife, work for Charles. They call. Carl says, yeah, I had just set Todd up on a date with Charles's daughter, Jordan. They were about 3 days away from that date. Wow, okay. The timing, Mr. Perry. It won't happen again. You just moved yourself from, I would have never thought Charles Perry would do that, to top of the suspect list, sir, because of me, because I'm good at what I do. When you bother me, you guys get caught more than ever in your life. When in your lives have you been caught in your crime more than now, more than when you fuck with me? And you just go right back at it every day like a dog chasing his tail. I've never seen anything like it. What's this say, Powell? I don't want a scandal. I just want him to leave me the fuck alone. I was in Dallas. I'd already left Lubbock. I already left. I hated it there. I hated it there because he was there. And I hated it there because I can't handle that mindset of, we've been doing it this way for 30 years. I can't deal with it. I can't deal with it. Vegas wasn't like that. I'm not like that. I don't like it. Not my thing. Some people don't mind it. I'm not one of those people. I'm one of those, let's get it done yesterday, let's get it done right, or go home. Do your best. You're going to screw up. People screw up. That's how you learn. But the thing about it is, once you learn that you screwed up, the more involved and engaged and working and doing things that you are, the more you're going to identify those screw ups and make a correction. The quicker you can do it. I fucked up a lot of things in my life. You learn from it. Everybody does. But you can't identify the fuck ups and fix it if you've been doing it that way for 30 years. And I couldn't handle that kind of thinking. I still can't. I don't like it. I really don't. I don't have any patience for it. So that was the other reason I didn't like Lubbock. And I didn't like the Connie Curry types. I really, I don't have any patience for that either. The conformist. I don't understand that kind of thing. So, and then this, Mr. Powell, and this, Mike was drugged. I said it before, it was on the docket. Wasn't on the docket yet. Wasn't public. Because the cops that are investigating you, that gave me the recordings of those 33,000 times you guys were recorded talking like today, does she suspect anything? Did she say anything to her attorney yet? Well, you shouldn't know what I say to my attorney, should ya? Got caught. Okay, so those guys that got me that went over and asked what happened to Mike. Doesn't look like he could have done this. Something's fishy about it. 6 days ago, she filed a complaint about vandalism that might be them or might not. We were waiting on a determination to be made after a police investigation. This is the second one, Powell. Didn't get investigated, and you guys are connected to it, maybe. But because of what happens where you keep impeding investigations so no determination can be made, it looks like you did. And you know what happens? I said this about my case. Mr. Perry could have said, I understand she's getting texts from somebody that's saying they work for me, trying to hurt her. She helped me get elected. It's not me. So let's investigate it. Let's make sure there's an investigation so we can find out who's doing that using my name. I don't appreciate that. But that's not what he did. What he did is he arranged the false arrest I described in this email. And he did it months after I wrote that email. Mr. Powell, he's still trying to do it again. He's just varying the... Shut up, Charles. Here's the thing is, he'll type in my computer, and when I say that, shut up, Charles, he'll stop. He's peeping and hacking because he should know what I'm doing right now. What a fucking idiot. Okay, so... Same thing here. Instead of saying, yeah, let's get her blood tested, let's find out what's going on, because there's somebody using my name to do this stuff to her, and I don't think that's cool. Let's put a stop to it. That's not what he did. What he did is, let's make her shut up. Let's make her lie. Yeah, act showing consciousness of guilt. Now we know you did it. And what you could have done here, Mr. Powell, is go, we support the blue. We back the blue. We support police. And anybody can see that even in the arrest report, it's not just what she said. It's not just what she says. It's in the fucking arrest report, Mr. Powell, that Mr. Neely didn't have anything on him. Look at all this, Mr. Powell. You didn't get all that, did you? Nah, where's the arrest report? There's an arrest report that Mr. Neely didn't have a mark on him. Here it is. All he had was a red swollen right hand and a busted face and lip because Hotel John came in and pulled him off, lucky after the whole thing's over, face first into the floor. Not cool, John. That upset me. Those were the injuries, Powell. So why didn't you guys, if you're innocent, go, God, that's awful. There's no way he could have done that, because if you beat somebody to death, you're going to have marks on you like my kid does here, who is in Vegas. He got hit 4 times. He said the beer in my hand did not even slosh out. But he's got busted lip. Mike doesn't have anything like that on him, Powell. So why didn't you guys come out and go, we support police, we back the blue, and we don't want that suspicion on us. So let's find out who did this to him and get him home to his family. That's not what you did. You're trying to put me back in jail and shut me up. Trying to go over there and see if you can get a crisis management team to put her back in put her in the funny farm. We'll say she's crazy. We'll lie. We'll make her lie. She's gonna do what we say or else. Subjugate, violent subjugation, economic subjugation, and you're caught. When in your lives were you caught this much? You're fucking with the wrong people. And our shrink says, if he can't tell after all these years from here, look at the date on that. There's not a day that goes by they don't talk about trying to take my car away. 4 times it's been wrecked, right at the wheel, in 2 years. Their cars aren't being wrecked. And then that got noticeable. So then they go, let's have somebody pull in front of her so she hits them. Nobody will suspect a thing. Right. Okay, except you were recorded, so we're all going to suspect you if that happens. And once again, Perry, never again will you commit a crime, kill somebody, and you're top of the list of suspects, sir. From here on out. I did that. I want you to remember, I did that. So when you start trying to boss me around, remember who it is you're talking to. When in your life have you been caught this much? So from right here, Mr. Powell, October 29, 2015, and every day since, 33,000 emails, about 33,000 recordings of you trying to hurt me. In Oklahoma, I left. I moved twice. So there wouldn't be any such thing happen. So from here on out, our shrink goes by the 3rd time that they got caught, every time they fuck with you, every time Charles contacts you, every time they cause a loss for you. The 3rd time that happened, a 6-year-old would have figured out the pattern. So because they can't all these years later, these guys up here are going, she's already caught you on fucking with, using her family to hurt her. You can't do it now. Oh, well, we're going to do it anyway. Well, okay, it's not going to work. And then when it doesn't work, they're all, it didn't work. Well, but we told you. She already knew you were using her family. In fact, she told you more than once, stop bothering my family. It doesn't get any stupider. So she's like, I'm going to put some blocks in front of them that are different colors and different shapes. I'm going to make a pattern. They won't be able to pick it out. If they're this stupid, they're not going to pass my 1st grade test. How embarrassing. How fucking embarrassing. Charles, get the fuck out of my life. You don't have a choice. You guys go get busy working. Go to Vegas and watch how people work. They don't have time to act like you. And leave us alone. You don't have a choice. It is unbelievable you think you do at this point. Leave us the fuck alone. Thanks.